Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Danielle and this is going to be the August releases that I am most anticipating, most excited about, looking forward to, all that good stuff. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and give it a thumbs up and comment and let me know what book you're most excited about in August. This is going to be basically all thriller and horror. I have 10 to talk about. That doesn't mean these are the only ones I'm excited about. These are just maybe the most excited for me. There's a couple that might be missing from this list, and that's because they're sequels and I haven't read the first one, so I can't most anticipate the second one until I read the first one. So basically, Lisa Jewell has a sequel coming out this month, and so does Karen Slaughter. They will not be on this list because I haven't read the other book. So this will be 10 other ones because I know that those are probably on a lot of other people's list. So I'm going to be using my phone to read some synopsis and give you some facts about the book and the dates and everything. I'm also going to be going in date order. So let's get started. All right, first up we have Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister, and that one comes out right away on August 2nd. That one is going to be a thriller, and I have not read anything by this author as far as I know. So this will be a new to me author, and I know that she definitely has a backlist, and I think she might have a pretty big one too. Not totally sure, but this is the one that's coming out soon, and I'm really excited about that one. So let me read you the blurb, and then I can maybe deep dive a little bit more into the synopsis. So the blurb says, "Can you stop a murder after it's already happened?" And then it looks like a mom literally witnesses her son kill somebody, and she doesn't know why he would do that, like what is the background to that, all that stuff that a mom would, want to know if she witnesses her son committing a crime. And so she's basically housing a murderer, but when she goes to sleep that night, she literally wakes up and things are off, it's her son's murder hasn't happened yet. It's actually the day before. So every night she falls asleep, it's literally another day before the murder has happened. So it's kind of like, will she be able to stop the crime from happening if she can figure out, why it happened in the first place and get to the bottom of it? Maybe that can stop the murder from actually happening. And so that sounds really cool to me. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about that one. So that is Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister, coming out August 2nd. All right, the next one we have coming out on August 2nd is The Devil Takes You Home by Gabino Iglesias. I have not read anything by this author, but I'm excited for it. And it looks like there's a short synopsis / blurb for this book, so I'm going to read that one. And then I'm going to kind of go into this one a little bit more blind. As far as I know, it's a horror. I think it might be might cross genres, like maybe a thriller with a little bit of horror, something like that. So we've got a genre-defying thriller about a father desperate to salvage what's left of his family, even if it means a descent into violence both supernatural and of our own terrifying world. So that sounds interesting. I like the idea of a father kind of, going to bat, ready to, get to the bottom of things or try and save his family. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not going to look into the synopsis any more than what this blurb gave me. So that sounds good to me, and it sounded good enough to put it on my list of 10. So that is The Devil Takes You Home by Gabino Iglesias, coming out August 2nd. So now we're moving into August 9th, and there's some good ones coming out on August 9th. First one we have is Stay Awake by Megan Golden. I have read a book by Megan Golden, and that is The Escape Room. I think that's the title of it. That one I gave like 3 stars. I went into the book wanting an escape room, and it wasn't that. So that's my short little review for that book. But let me find the blurb for that one. There are some books that I'm so excited about for the month of August. There are some great thriller and horror books coming out this month, and oh, I just can't wait. August 16th in particular is like got some good ones. So let me read you the synopsis for Stay Awake, and then we can maybe deep dive again. So it says, a murder she doesn't remember committing, a killer she doesn't remember meeting. An electrifying novel that proves memory can be deadly. So it looks like we're following a character named Liv who literally has no memory of, committing a murder. And it looks like we're going to kind of go through her story and journey, trying to unpack, what happened the night that this happened and why her memory of it is lost. And I can read you a little bit more. It says, Liv Reese wakes up in the back of a taxi with no idea where she is or how she got there. When she's dropped off at the door, a stranger answers at her house who claims to live in her apartment. She reaches for her phone to call for help, only to discover it's missing. In its place is a knife. Her hands are covered in scribbled messages like graffiti saying, "Stay awake." So that sounds great to me, and I definitely look forward to that one because the first book by this author was not so much a hit, and so I'm ready to give her another chance, and I hope that this one will be a hit. So there you have Stay Awake by Megan Golden. Next up on August 9th is These Fleeting Shadows by Kate Alice Marshall. Sorry, I have my little notes of when the books are coming out because I wanted to do them in order. So the blurb for this one says, The Haunting of Hill House meets Knives Out in a bid for an inheritance that will leave Helen Vaughn either rich or dead. So I'm currently kind of reading The Haunting of Hill House. It hasn't been like the best read ever for me, but I'm working my way through it. I'm trying my best. We're doing what we can. But Knives Out, that's a great comparison. That's something that'll get me to read a book. The last book I read that literally pitched itself as Knives Out was the Sherry Lapina 2022 release, and that one delivered Knives Out vibes, and I really liked that book. I can't remember what it's called, Not a Happy Family, I think. So this one sounds pretty good, and the cover, which obviously will be on the screen, is absolutely stunning. I love the colors, and I really look forward to this one. I love a good inheritance story. Another book that did that, I'm trying to think what it was. I can't remember the one that I'm thinking of, but I love the ones where, when someone dies, there's a big inheritance up for grabs. So literally, there could be a lot of different people who would kill to get that inheritance. So that's a trope that I really enjoy, and so I'm definitely looking forward to that release. And that is These Fleeting Shadows by Kate Alice Marshall, coming out on the 9th. So next up we have August 16th, and there are some good ones coming out. First up on the list is maybe my most anticipated for the month of August, and that would be Runtime by Catherine Ryan Howard. This is an author that I really enjoy. I read The Nothing Man by this author, and that's it, but that's a book I really recommend, and I'm ready to read another one. Her last release, I think, was it the last one? 56 Days? That one didn't seem super interesting to me, so I haven't picked up another one by her just because I wasn't at the time when that came out looking for a pandemic book, but I might read it now. So Runtime, like I said, comes out on August 16th, and this one is a thriller, and basically you're following this struggling actress who's basically just looking for work, and so a horror script stumbled upon her desk, basically, and obviously it might not be most ideal, but she'll literally do anything for a job. So she books the deal, and then when she goes to set, it seems like the things that are happening in the script are actually happening in real life. So she's basically living out a horror film, and the horror film is the one that she's literally a part of acting. So that sounds so interesting to me, and I cannot wait for this book. That one's probably the one I'm most excited about for August, like I said. So good stuff there, and I can't wait to read it. And also I love the cover for that book too. So that is Runtime by Catherine Ryan Howard, coming out on the 16th. Another one that I'm very excited about on the 16th is All Good People Here by Ashley Flowers. And this is one of the hosts of Crime Junkie, the podcast, and I am a listener of that podcast. So that in itself was a reason why I would have wanted to pick up the book. But I'm also just excited to, give this a read. I actually have an arc for this book. I haven't finished it yet, so that might need to be one of the first books I read in August, just because I want to finish it, obviously, before the 16th when it comes out. But let me read you the blurb. And I'm not going to read any more of the synopsis because I'm currently in the middle of it, so I don't really want to go back and read the synopsis since I've been a part of it. So this one, you're following a journalist who uncovers her hometown's darkest secrets when she becomes obsessed with the unsolved murder of her childhood neighbor and the disappearance of another girl 20 years later. You can't ever know for sure what happens behind closed doors. Sorry if the lighting has changed a little bit. I guess the sun just went behind clouds. So, sorry about that. But this one sounds super interesting. I love the neighbor stories, like when your neighbor is like up to no good and everything. So I love that. And then obviously I like the journalist aspect too. So yeah, I haven't gotten very far into this, so I can't really provide anything based on what I've read yet, but it's definitely one I'm really excited about, and I just love Ashley Flowers. So this one is high on my list, and that one again comes out on the 16th. And next up, this is one that's maybe a little bit further down on my list, but I'm still going to talk about it, and that is The Blame Game by Sandy Jones. That one also comes out on the 16th. Like I said, the 16th has got a lot of good titles. And the only reason why I say it's a little bit further down is because I can't even remember the name of her last year release. But that book really did not work for me. So I am not like stoked to read this one, but we'll get there. And basically this one's about a psychologist who specializes in domestic abuse. Naomi has found it hard to avoid, her name is Naomi. She's found it hard to avoid becoming overly invested in her clients' lives. She basically gives one of her clients advice to leave their wife, and then the man who she was helping goes missing, and we're trying to figure out maybe how is Naomi more connected to this story. And I think she's got some secrets of her own. So I'm intrigued to see how the two things will end up being connected. Like I said, I am interested in it, but it's not going to be like the first one I pick up. But I thought it was worth mentioning in case that plot sounds interesting to you. So yeah, that would be The Blame Game by Sandy Jones, coming out on the 16th. And then we have one more coming out on the 16th, and that is The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead. Again, an amazing cover. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. And this one is a pitch black thriller about a woman determined to destroy a powerful cult and avenge the deaths of the women taken in by it, no matter the cost. That sounds pretty great to me. I'm going to read a little bit more just because that might not have given you enough. That blurb works for me, but I just want to provide a little bit more so I can get you maybe a little bit more into it. So while in college in upstate New York, Shay and her best friends met a captivating man who seduced them with a web of lies about the way the world works, bringing them under his thrall. By senior year, Shay and her friend Laurel were the only ones who managed to escape. Now, 8 years later, Shay's built a new life in Texas. But when she hears the news of Laurel's death, a true crime podcast. Love that. She begins to suspect that the past she thought she buried is still very much alive and the predators more dangerous than ever. I love when there's a podcast element in my thrillers because I'm a huge podcast listener. I actually didn't read any further because I usually, like I said, I go into most thrillers blind, but so I didn't read all the way down. Oh, that's so exciting. A podcast element. We love that. Okay. That just got me even more excited. Nice. So that is the Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead. Now I'm even more excited for that one. All right, next date we have, Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Caesar. Clown in a Cornfield 2, I should say, by Adam Caesar. That one is the only release I have for August, or for the 23rd. I know that the Karen Slaughter one comes out on the 23rd, but like I said, I'm not going to talk about that one because I didn't read Pieces of Her yet. I do own it on my little Book of the Month cart here, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. So, Clown in a Cornfield is a sequel, so I can't really talk much about it, but I will say that if you read the first one, you're basically now following Quinn into her college years, and her dad is back in Kettle Springs. She thinks that, you know, moving away, going to college, like everything from the past that happened in the first book has ended, but obviously it's a sequel, so things are going to start happening again, and so I think she wants to take matters into her own hands and try and go back to where it began and see if she can defeat this situation once and for all. Like I said, I can't really talk more about it because it's a sequel and you should read the first one. I read the first one during Summerween. You'd see it in my vlogs and you can see my in-depth or my in-the-moment reactions and everything. Also, I don't know when this video is going up, but I'll also talk about it in my July wrap-up too. So that is Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Caesar, coming out on the 23rd. And then I think we have one more book. Ooh, I'm excited about this one too. So the last book I'm going to talk about in this video is Suburban Hell by Maureen Kilmer. Another stunning cover, and let me get you the blurb on that one. So the blurb for that one says, Bad Moms meets My Best Friend's Exorcism in this light horror comedy about a group of women in the Chicago suburbs whose cul-de-sac gets a new neighbor, a demon. So, if you do not know, I live in the suburbs off of Chicago as well. So this is very, this feels very close to home. Obviously, I don't know exactly where this is taking place. But it's in my place, it's in my environment, so that's intriguing enough. And like I said, I love a creepy neighbor story, so that's another thing that interests me. And a group of women in a horror comedy, that sounds great. What's not to like? And it has a great cover, like I said. So that one comes out on August 30th. And that one's actually more towards the top of my list too, of the ones I'm most excited about in the month, just because it sounds super interesting. So that's one I definitely do plan to read. I haven't read Bad Moms or My Best Friend's Exorcism. I know My Best Friend's Exorcism is definitely on my list of books to read during spooky season, because I know that it's very well loved in the booktube community for horror and thriller booktubers. So I'm definitely interested in reading that one this season, and I definitely will. So I look forward to that one, and that wraps up my 10 most anticipated books for August in the thriller and horror genres. Like I said, there's definitely some other ones I'm excited about too. These ones would just be the top 10. So like I said, let me know, leave a comment letting me know the one that you're most excited about. It could be something that's not even on my list, and give this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe. I would love to have you, and yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next video and in August, which is nuts. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!